Woods swings back into action with his annual PGA Tour outing, this time sporting a whole new game engine, delivering new graphics, physics and rendering all the golfers and courses to scale in a precise 3D world. There's a host of celebrity golfers to unlock, not least of which is King of the Swing, Tiger himself. 4 PGA Tour courses are included: Pebble Beach Gold Links, the Players' Championship at Sawgrass, Royal Birkdale and Princeville. Then there's a further 3 challenge courses. These are the Volcano Course, Canyon Course and Tiger's Dream 18. The control system allows you to use the analog stick for precise control over whether you hit the ball straight, slice it or draw back. And you can expect a selection of single-player modes along with a variety of 2-player options to keep the challenge coming. A hole-in-one or way over par? Keep an eye on Tiger Woods' PGA Tour 2002 to find out.
Shot. Can't avoid the jab. We're midway through the first. Hard left to the head.
Boasting all the usual yearly upgrades we've come to expect from EA Sports games, Knockout Kings 2002 talks a pretty good fight.
Help with that good combination.
With that combination. Taking a little trip to the canvas.
EA has signed up a number of current big-name boxers, along with additional legends from yesteryear. The only real disappointment is the lack of ear-chomping Iron Mike Tyson, who's already been signed up by Codemasters for his forthcoming Mike Tyson boxing series.
Gears delivers a solid counter with the hook. Did some damage with that big combination.
Most noticeable, though, is the improved motion capture, which allows the boxers to shuffle around the ring with greater speed, fluidity and agility, the lack of which was a main criticism of last year's game.
1, 2, 3.
Even though the PS2 version of Colin McRae Rally is yet to materialise, Race of Champions is shaping up to be one of the very few titles to challenge the daredevil driving antics of mud skipper McRae. The flaw in most rally games is the serious lack of competition to race against, but Race of Champions breaks with tradition and provides rival cars in point-to-point real-time battles. It's also got some fairly unusual racing modes too, packed with stupidly powerful cars that can be written off through the fantastic damage system that really bumps up the off-road carnage. 20 cars look set to make the final lineup, ranging from World Rally Championship spec machinery to some crazy-looking buggies. If Activision can achieve all they desire with this title, Race of Champions could really be a winner. The world of Drakan is being overrun by an alien race called the Desert Lords. So up step warrior heroine Rin and her soul-bonded dragon, Arok. They must travel across 5 different environments and awaken the ancient dragons of the Order to free the land of their oppressors. Over 3 times the size of the PC original, Drakan the Ancient's Gates is not just a duplicate of that game, but actually stands as a complete sequel. There are over 80 hand-to-hand weapons to get to grips with, along with 12 types of magic spells and the power of 5 dragon weapons. Surreal Software have made full use of the PS2 hardware, with the average character made up from the same number of polygons as a whole scene from the PC prequel. In other words, they all look a lot smoother. Drakan has never looked so good. Sony has teamed up with Disney once again, this time to bring you an epic action adventure in Disney's Peter Pan, The Legend of Neverland. Captain Hook stumbles across a piece of legendary treasure map leading to the lost riches of Skull Rock, but he can't hunt for the rest of the map with Peter flying around, and so he captures Tinkerbell and steals her pixie dust, without which Peter finds himself unceremoniously grounded.
Are you okay?
You take the role of Peter himself as he struggles to rescue Tinkerbell and regain the pixie dust and his lost power of flight. Ultimately, you must stop the dreaded Captain Hook and his henchman Smee from taking the lost treasure. Final Fantasy XI is set to break the mold of the Final Fantasy series by becoming the first massively multiplayer online RPG for any console. The Final Fantasy servers will be able to handle thousands of players at once, in much the same way as the PC games Ultima Online and EverQuest. The game is set on a world known as Varna Diel, with the usual mix of swords, sorcery and technology. This world is home to special crystals, which are the source of all things. A long time ago, there was a war between good and evil. Good won, and the land has been at peace since then. But now the evil is returning, and everything once more rests on the power of the crystals. Can the stunning graphics encourage people that beating up giant bees is a worthwhile pastime? Check out the upcoming review and see for yourself. The V-Rally series from Eden Studios has consistently been one of the most popular rallying games out there, with the only real competition coming from the World Rally Championship, Colin McRae, and the rally stages in Gran Turismo. There's an incredible range of tracks, along with incredibly detailed cars and a new game engine, known as Twilight, which conjures up some stunning details. Each of the cars consists of 15 to 16,000 polygons, all enhanced with the use of multiple layers of reflections and dirt. Altogether, this makes a decent challenger for the visual wonders of Gran Turismo 3. And in its favour, V-Rally also sports an extensive damage model, so there'll be none of Gran Turismo's nudging your way around corners here, at least not without being suitably penalised. With all this going for it, V-Rally 3 looks set to make an impressive debut for the series on PS2. Prepare yourself for Westwood Studios' latest development, Pirates: The Legend of Black Cat. First, there's the adventuring, featuring exciting sword battles and the chance to encounter all manner of strange and possibly helpful characters. The action here is in a similar vein to the Tomb Raider games, but with a Zelda-esque touch and a healthy dose of Monkey Island humour. Then there's the ship-to-ship combat. You can take the helm of 12 ships from history and legend with a variety of weapons, customizations and assorted ammunition, ranging from the historical to the fantastic and surreal. Motocross games have always been a very mixed bag, but EA Sports Big aims to change all that with the release of Freekstyle, bringing the tricking arcade style of their other games to the mud tracks of the motocross world.
It's go time!
As you might expect, there are plenty of game modes to get your teeth into, along with a wide variety of environments and a lively soundtrack.
Double can with a heart attack. We are underway.
The riders are all recognisable licensed big names, each with their own style, bike and a wardrobe full of outfits.
Bar hop. Freak out meters almost full.
And they're all itching to get out there and roar through the mud at insane speeds, attempting huge jumps and as many tricks as they can manage.
Superman seat grab.
As with all EA Sports Big titles, the tricks make up a large part of the game, with more than 80 different stunts to master.
Bar hop. Donkey kick.
And if that isn't enough, then you can try combining them for even more points.
No-hander.
There are 9 different venues to explore, each of them filled with hidden paths and shortcuts, littered with obstacles and sporting exciting new scenery.
The freaks are about to be unleashed on Los Infernos.
The game modes include circuit, race, freestyle and free ride options, along with a split-screen head-to-head 2-player mode.
Superman. Donkey kick. Whip.
Freekstyle's blend of motocross and over-the-top tricking arcade action is definitely showing some great potential.
I smell a freak-out coming.
I'm going to the head office.
All right.
Stay tuned.
When Space Channel 5 was released on Dreamcast over a year ago, it was an instant hit.
Look out, the base is falling apart. We got a jet. Roger.
Hey, they've got their cannons aimed at you.
Sexy reporter Ulala danced her way into the people's hearts, and with the release of Space Channel 5 Part 1, she now plans to do the same on PlayStation 2.
Stay tuned.
It's the 26th century, and Ulala is a reporter for Space Channel 5. It's an era of dancing presenters, exotic fashions, and bizarre alien invasions. Yes, the Merolians have attacked, and Ulala is on the scene.
Hey, who the heck is that?
Left, right, shoot.
She now has to cover the story, whilst repelling the aliens and rescuing their hypnotised hostages. And she does all this through the medium of dance, of course.
Out of sight, baby. The gameplay is incredibly simple. The aliens present you with a combination of direction and shoot commands, and you need to repeat them immediately and with the correct timing. Sounds simple, and it is, but it's also incredibly addictive. Watch out!
Get your clutches off of me!
To keep things interesting, Ulala's problems vary as she progresses through her mission. Marshmallow monsters grab her with their tongues, rival reporters battle for coverage, robotic rivals try to outdance her, and the subplot gradually reveals how TV is brainwashing us all. Some things never change.
The ratings were everything. So what's wrong with using TV to brainwash the masses? Isn't that what television's for? Ratings!
The main game will only take about an hour to complete, and you then unlock a few more features, but it's still a very short game. Fortunately, this doesn't seem to detract at all from the game's appeal, and you'll find yourself playing it over and over again.
Right. Shoot.
With a sequel already out in Japan and soon to be heading this way, Space Channel 5 Part 1 is set to fill that funkadelic hole in your life. Welcome to the 26th century.
Here we go. Stay tuned.
Grandia 2 doesn't have the flashy graphics of Final Fantasy X, but at least you won't have to wait until you're old and grey before you play it. The format is more along the lines of a traditional role-playing game. The role in question is that of Ryu-Do, a mercenary employed by the church to escort a young priestess to a great ceremony. Sadly, things don't go according to plan, and the ceremony goes horribly wrong. This leads to the release of the Dark Lord, Valmar, who immediately finds himself scattered across the landscape. The only way to save the planet now is to gather the various chunks of Valmar and then prepare to face him in a final cataclysmic battle. As the story unfolds, this all begins to make a little more sense, and you're also treated to Ryu-Do's discovery that he really does care for his companions and the fate of the world.
Here you go.
But the real star of the game isn't the plot, it's the battle system.
That was beautiful, you guys.
Here you're required to choose your tactics depending upon your position on the battlefield, as well as using a turn-based fighting system that comes across as surprisingly real-time, very reminiscent of the Final Fantasy series. The timeline in the lower right corner represents every participant in the battle. When their icon reaches the action point, the battle is paused, and they can choose their action and pick a target. This action is then carried out when their icon reaches the end of the track.
This becomes more complex and tactical when you introduce the special moves and items that can affect people's positions on the track, leading to some advanced tactics as your skills increase and the enemy becomes more powerful. First seen on the ill-fated Dreamcast, Grandia 2 is ready for a second chance on the PS2. With all the makings of a great RPG, it promises to follow up the success of the original PS1 version. The first game of the Worms series to make it to PS2, Worms Blast, follows the continuing adventures of those plucky little worms. But this time they've changed their style, leaning more towards a puzzle bobble kind of approach. The principle is simple. Fire the coloured blobs at similarly coloured blobs to eliminate. Clear all the blobs and move on to the next level. But where things get interesting is in the multiplayer games. Here you can use your considerable arsenal of intriguingly named weaponry to put your opponent out of the game, whilst making progress yourself. The hardware at your disposal consists of torpedoes, fish food, reverse controls, frozen time, speed up, double damage and lasers. All of these can be wielded by any of the 9 worms, each of which has their own boat, with its own characteristics. So there are plenty of strategies to be considered at every stage of the game. There are numerous power-ups to collect, any of which could give you an advantage when it comes to debilitating the other worm or improving your own position. For instance, falling stars can be collected to lower the water level, giving you a bit more room to manoeuvre. Ubisoft has gone to some effort to provide a variety of game modes to keep you entertained. You can test your mettle with the deathmatch, try a tide trial, or take the survival challenge, to name but a few. There are 8 multiplayer modes in total, along with an increasingly complicated single-player mode. While it may not look quite as slick as many of the current PS2 games, there is a definite mental challenge to be found here. But will engrossing gameplay be enough to carry it? Check out next month's review to find out. Dynasty Warriors 3 draws on China's ancient feudal history for its setting, so if you don't like the idea of massive and bloody sword battles on horseback, look away now. For both cooperative and single-player story modes, you're thrust into a tale based loosely on the ancient Chinese novel Romance of the Three Kingdoms. It's the very same storyline that developer Koei chose for its other feudal fight sim, Kessen 2. Within this seemingly endless conflict between 3 factions, you get to choose from a huge selection of characters allied to any one of the warring sides. And many of Kessen 2's feudal warlords are also present in the frenzy. Versus mode provides a standard one-on-one punch-up. However, it's the cooperative mode where things really start to get brutal. You and a mate can slay the advancing hordes from the opposite sides of the battlefield, or just wade in, side by side, for a multi-weapon onslaught. Combos are now much more elaborate.
Don't fall behind.
Far exceeding those in Dynasty Warriors 2, with massive multiple hit moves that can take out a crowd of 20 enemies in one lethal stroke. And you can even stomp through the battlefields on horseback. Also, you're now given the opportunity to select your preferred weapons, items and bodyguard formations. These faithful sidekicks provide essential backup, and like your chosen character, they gain experience with every successful skirmish. Unfortunately, there's a price to pay for the amount of characters on screen, and that comes in the form of a fogging effect that limits the view to just a few meters in front of you. Despite these grievances, Koei's latest adventure builds on what made DW2 such an invigorating fighting experience, and could well be a worthy alternative to the fourth instalment of Tekken and Virtua Fighter.
Brother, let's go.
Kessen 2 is from the same stable as Dynasty Warriors 3, also previewed here. Both games are based around the same ancient Chinese plot, involving three feuding armies. But while Dynasty Warriors 3 takes the all-action approach, Kessen 2 concentrates on the strategic side of warfare.
Run, Chan, run!
It's no use! We're surrounded!
You take the role of feudal lord Liu Bei and must rescue his lost love from the evil clutches of Cao Cao and his awesome army.
Liu Bei!
Troops! All my loyal troops, rally to me!
The game brings to life all the great heroes from the Three Kingdoms, all introduced through the stunning cutscenes and placed in your command through 30 different scenarios. Each of these scenarios is broken down into a series of stages. After the initial briefing, your allied warlords present a number of battle strategies for you to choose from.
Liu Bei, please listen to my plan.
I've made my decision. To battle!
Then it's time to take control of your warmongers, up to 500 of which can be seen on the battlefield at once, 5 times more than in the original Kessen. The battlefields themselves are vastly expanded and include specialist arenas such as naval battles and castle sieges. And each character has a variety of special attacks that confuse your advancing foes and boost your own levels of morale. But the biggest new feature is the introduction of magic. All you need is a shapely young sorceress by your side, and you can cut swathes through the enemy with tornadoes, earthquakes, lightning, firestorms, massive ice shards, and much more.
Fight with honor!
From what we've seen so far, Koei has added more substance to the original Kessen formula with new tactical options and vastly expanded mission scenarios.
What?
Whether it has the staying power to keep serious strategy gamers hooked remains to be seen.
I will triumph in this war!
When the original Sled Storm game came out on PS1, it inspired a whole load of snow racing games. Now Sled Storm 2 from EA Sports Big is set to arrive on PS2 and remind us just what it was that started this craze. There are 12 levels to learn, and each one is filled with so many features, possible routes and trick opportunities that you'll be finding something new every time you play. While winning is important, you can also rack up points by taking chances and pulling off any of the 30 tricks the game has to master. So it's not unusual for the race winner to score fewer points than an opponent who took the time to try some more impressive moves. What's more, as you plough down the course, your storm meter fills up. When that reaches the top, you can gain advantages like invulnerability, turbo boost, or the ability to pull off even better tricks.
Oh, really smart.
Add to this 6 characters, each with their own personal sled and attitude, and you have a game that's definitely worth looking out for. PaRappa The Rapper has been quiet since he burst onto the PS1 scene all those years ago, but now he's back with a PS2 sequel.
I gotta believe. Jump the ropes now. Jump the ropes now. Get up high now. Get up high now. To the limit now. To the limit now. Right now. Right now.
The original game saw PaRappa, the lovable, flat, dog-like thing, trying to win the heart of Sunny Funny. But now things have become a little more complicated. PaRappa Town has been invaded by the dastardly Noodle Gang, who are intent on transforming all the town's foodstuffs into noodles. Since PaRappa has a summer job in a burger joint and is thoroughly sick of noodles, his only option is to rap the Noodle Gang out of town.
Very nice. You got a heat. Toast. Haha, yes. Toast. Very nice. Remember that phrase again when I say boom, boom, boom.
As before, the concept is to watch and copy what you see. The various senses will lead with a quick rap, and then it's PaRappa's turn. Press the indicated buttons in time with the display, and you'll be cheered on to victory and increasingly complicated sequences. If you should foul it up, then you'll be booed off the stage and kicked out of town like the ham-fisted, rhythmless reject you are.
Master the guarantees to seize the final block coming, no denying,
to help him along, PaRappa has the usual suspects: his best friend PJ Berry, significant other Sunny Funny, and Lammy's rock band Milk Cans.
You wanna just forget it and just take a picture? You wanna just forget it and just take a picture? I carry the camera for all my adventures. You carry a camera for all your adventures.
That was good! Can you please take a picture?
Sure! Hop to it! 1, 2, let's go! Come on!
There's also a whole new array of teachers ready to bring PaRappa up to speed on all the latest raps and styles that he'll need to defeat the Noodle Gang.
That a boy, PaRappa?
Hey, I'm off to a good start.
Sophia!
Maximo! Achille, you told me Maximo...
Silence!
That's enough, Achille!
You little fool! I control your kingdom now, as I control the power of the underworld.
Sophia!
Maximo is a progression of the old Ghosts and Goblins games, but even if you never played those classic coin-ops, this will still be a joy to experience, with just the right level of challenge to be fun. There's plenty of leaping around to be done, in between desecrating gravestones for lost souls and looting treasure chests. Each of Maximo's 6 worlds has a central level, around which are strange obelisks. Smashing these gives access to the sub-levels, and each one must be completed before access to the hub is granted. Here you'll meet numerous bosses, tough enough to be fun, but not so hard as to keep you stuck in an annoying loop of failures. There are plenty of different enemies to take on too, most of which rise up out of the ground as you approach. Although you eventually realise they appear from the same places each time, the game's simply too large for you to learn them all and become bored. Despite the cartoonish style, we defy anyone not to be taken with Maximo's smooth and free-flowing world. The difficulty level is particularly well judged throughout, and the only downside to this old-school adventure is that it eventually comes to an end. Still, with 18 hours of gaming on offer, it's an awesome challenge with great replay value. Following the wave of merchandising surrounding the latest Disney extravaganza from the makers of Toy Story, Monsters Inc. isn't quite a soulless cash-in, but it still fails to inspire.
This is it, buddy. The big time.
If we get through this, you and I could be the best screen-producing team Monstropolis has ever seen.
The plot is set prior to the events of the movie, with Sully and Mike still earning their monster qualifications at a special training facility. You get to take the duo on an extended treasure hunt as they scour the various levels for the power-ups they need. Their challenge is to collect enough tubs of ooze to scare the nerves, the clockwork puppets, into unconsciousness. When they confront a nerve, our monstrous heroes can initiate their scare tactics with a press of the circle button. From then on, you need to follow the changing icons in order to complete the scare. It's not very challenging, but does result in some really amusing antics for the fearsome pair. There's a decent variety of levels to be found from the central hub, but you'll soon find them becoming strangely familiar. And the puzzles are straightforward and hardly taxing. But in the unlikely event that you do get stuck, there are mailboxes near to each of them providing hints on request. graphics looking more like something you'd expect from a PS1 game, and gameplay that can't be justified by claiming it's a kids game, Monsters Inc. is really not going to hold anyone's attention for long. When it comes to PS2 tennis games, the choice is limited to say the least. Now Centre Court Championship Tennis is here, have we finally got something to rival Sega's Virtua Tennis? In a word, no. The graphics are adequate, with some gorgeous sunshine but a bland crowd. Unfortunately, you don't get to see any recognisable faces here, although the character models are nicely presented. The gameplay is also pretty mediocre, although there is the strategic element provided by the addition of a charge gauge. This feature allows you to boost the strength of regular shots and lobs by holding down the button, or you can press it quickly for a softer but more accurate swing. While it might seem that you'd always want to serve with a powerful shot, it may be returned just as fast. In this way, this simple feature manages to add quite a bit of tactical thinking to the game. Centre Court Championship Tennis is a simple, inoffensive game that plays well and should keep tennis fans happy until something more advanced comes along.
It takes stamina as well as skill.
Of the women's freestyle aerials, held here at the Deer Valley Resort.
Here's the officially licensed game of this year's Winter Olympics. 6 winter events are faithfully recreated and available through 4 different modes of play, including Olympic mode, where grabbing yourself a gold medal in each discipline presents quite a challenge when competing at the higher end of the difficulty settings.
The British skier is next to go. And look at the leading built up.
Each event presents a different but rather simplistic technique to be mastered. In downhill skiing, you do nothing more than steer left and right and tuck yourself in for the occasional tight turn. The bobsleigh begins with a bit of traditional track and field style button bashing.
They've managed to get a smooth, clean start to their run. Let's see if they can capitalise on it.
Before leaving you to steer your sleigh through each suicidal bend at breakneck speeds. Meanwhile, in the freestyle skiing aerials, you choose which gravity-defying manoeuvre you're going to pull off through a series of button-matching tests, very much like the figure skating in ESPN International Winter Sports.
Oh, great start!
The terrain has been precision-modelled from satellite imagery to make it accurate to within 2 feet of the real thing, helping to transform events like the giant slalom, where it's all about getting into a rhythm and knowing where to sacrifice speed for a sharp turn in order to make it through all of the gates.
Let's have a look at the British jumper. Let's see what he can do.
Couple this with the impressive motion capture animations for each event, and you've got all the realism you could possibly ask for.
And that's a fair lift-off. That was classy. Good landing, good distance. He'll like that. The opening ceremony is about to begin.
Yes, Stuart, we rarely know what to expect from these ceremonies, as over the years there have been some real surprises, but we know it will be entertaining and we really raise expectation for sales.
Salt Lake City 2002 provides an accurate representation of the 6 Winter Olympic events, but it could really do with more events. Competing with the officially licensed Salt Lake City 2002, Konami's ESPN International Winter Sports 2002 has its work cut out. Unfortunately, it's the weaker of the pair in most areas, with only a couple of exceptions.
Here we go. Watch it, he's heading for the great curve.
Although it has more events than its official counterpart, ESPN never seems to achieve Salt Lake standards of presentation and gameplay.
Oh my God!
One of the better ideas to be found here is the tutorial session provided before each event, showing you what it is you should be doing before you hit the snow. However, the problem is that Konami has tried to enhance the control systems, but this has just made things too complicated and removed a big dose of fun from the proceedings.
Oh, maybe it's not his day.
The main exception to this is the surprisingly compelling curling event. Not the most popular part of the Olympics perhaps, but here it becomes one of the most strategic and addictive parts of the game. The other stage that catches the attention is the figure skating event. This is carried out in a PaRappa The Rapper style, with the challenge being to press the buttons in time with the symbols that appear on screen. It's a strangely engrossing activity, as you struggle to keep the poor girl on her feet throughout the entire event.
He loses his balance there.
As far as the single-player experience goes, ESPN International Winter Sports 2002 is a bit of a whitewash, although the multiplayer mode provides some compensation. But all in all, Salt Lake City 2002 leaves it out in the cold.
Great Britain just completed their run. People Vessel just completed his run.
System has been activated. All personnel evacuate immediately.
Featuring the characters and storyline of Code Veronica and the 3D light gun action of Survivor, the elegantly named Resident Evil Survivor 2 Code Veronica should have been something special. Unfortunately, it's anything but, and provides a very poor epitaph to the Resident Evil series. The graphics are nice enough, especially the characters, but there's nothing really novel or inspired here. The Code Veronica story has been sliced and diced to make it suitable for the first-person style, but despite reducing the traipsing about, it does leave players of the original a little disorientated, as doors and corridors fail to lead where you'd expect. Fortunately, there's no chance of getting lost, as the doors and routes are well advertised throughout. But you almost wish that you were following a preset course, as the garish directions completely destroy any sense of immersion. The movement system system has been improved, with the use of G-Con's 2D pad, but you'll still find the usual hordes of zombies and genetic mutants lurking just off screen. It makes fighting at close quarters a real pain. Resident Evil 3's Nemesis also puts in an appearance, just for old time's sake. This behemoth shows up to harry you if you fail to keep within the time limit. Sadly, he fails to evoke any terror this time around, as you can simply run away from him, which rather removes the threat of the time limit as well. If you're looking for a light gun game, then there are plenty of others to choose from. Time Crisis 2, Silent Scope 2, or even the upcoming Vampire Knight. So leave Survivor 2 well alone, and let the Resident Evil series die in peace. Sadly, the most interesting feature of Winter X Games Snowboarding 2002 is the superb video sequence in the introduction. It's a great way to start, but Konami has failed to meet the challenge of SSX Tricky and Sean Palmer's Pro Snowboarder when it comes to gameplay. Despite the ESPN license and a battery of official endorsements, the overall experience is rather flat to say the least. Border X mode provides a limited number of events to compete in, but there are various routes to be discovered in the 5-man race of Border Cross mode. So long as you take the red and blue gates alternately throughout the sparse white plains, everything's fine. Miss one out, and your chances of victory will dissolve for good. And even the alternate routes are every bit as dull and featureless as the main racing channels.
Look at him, trying to show off even in a situation like this, and he kills it!
I know it, you know it, they know it, but I don't care.
In slopestyle mode, the layouts of ramps and rails provide a brief moment of grind satisfaction, and once you've seen one half-pipe, you've seen them all.
I'm fueled up and ready, but hey, don't mess up my head. You want some action, baby, yeah. Looking for action, baby, yeah. You want some action, baby.
Snowboarder mode takes things a step further by allowing you to build up your career from scratch, starting in your hometown and moving around to different locations to earn money, boards and more tricks.
Give me your heart, give me your heart, daddy, oh, just get
Fifth place in the video at Winter X 2000. Proud of it. This year he hopes to do even better.
You gotta know. Gotta find.
Sadly, the tricks are pretty lifeless too. The jumps are relatively short-lived, so there's not much opportunity to exploit the limited and rather dull selection of grabs. Even if this was the only snowboarding game available, we wouldn't recommend it.
You want some action, baby, yeah.
Originating from the arcades, Vampire Knight gives gun-con owners the chance to mow their way through a plague of vampires in order to make the night safe for innocent villagers everywhere. children of the night have infested the region, forcing our bold heroes to chase them through towns, forests, graveyards and castles to face down the final vampire lord in his ancient crypt.
So this is our destiny. I knew someday this day would come.
The big problem, though, is that it's too short. Its arcade origins are horribly apparent, as you can easily complete the whole game in less than an hour, including the surprisingly feeble Vampire Lord. To increase its lifespan, you can take entirely new routes through the game if you do particularly well on a previous stage, but you're still not looking at a lengthy game here. There isn't much of a challenge to the vampire shooting, except for the occasional villager who gets involved in the action.
Impossible! You can't take them on with just a gun!
At every level, there are 3 or 4 humans who've managed to pick up a parasite. Shoot the parasite, and all is well, but shoot the villager, and the parasite transforms them into a hideous monster, which will only eat up more of your ammunition.
Please, mister, please find Mommy for me. I'll give you a present if you get her back for me.
In an attempt to make the home game something more, you also have a new mode called Special, where the locals give you quests to perform. Sadly, all this means is that you play through the game again, looking out for the quest object. Complete the missions and you receive various bonuses to make your next run through that much easier. Vampire Knight is pretty much your bog standard gun game. The special mode and the alternate paths do little to spice it up.
Vampire Knight.
Where crimes such as burglary...
Everyone who's ever played a gun game knows that you end up ducking and diving yourself as your character dodges and rolls through the various levels. Now, Police 24/7 can justify this eccentric behaviour. What makes this shooting gallery different is the use of a camera mounted on top of your TV. This device plugs into your PS2 USB port and keeps track of your movements, relaying them to the game. So when you see some goon take a pot shot at you, you can quickly nip behind the sofa and keep your character intact. The other major difference is your weaponry. Whereas other games provide you with more firepower and armour than a Sherman tank, this time you have only your trusty standard issue handgun to help you out. That ducking feature will come in handy when a single shot can put an end to your game. Just remember that you'll have to make a break for it at some point. The clock is ticking.
Bystander, shot.
Unfortunately, if you don't happen to be able to use the camera, you'll find the controls to be quite frustrating. Whilst you can use the gun or joypad to duck for cover, the options are much more limited, and all the controller juggling gets in the way of playing the game. Additionally, you get offered a number of bonus games. Some of these are actually as much fun as the main game. Police 24/7 is just as much fun as any other gun game, with the added attraction of justifying all your ridiculous antics in front of the screen. But it also suffers from all the usual flaws. The action quickly becomes repetitive, the opposition lacks variety, and the whole thing is over way too quickly.
Welcome, I say welcome to the most spectacular racing extravaganza in the universe. The Looney Tunes Space Race. Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Wile-E, Elmer, Sylvester, and Yosemite Sam.
Bugs, Daffy, Sylvester, Elmer Fudd, and more Looney Tunes characters are coming your way in their own kart racing game. Hardly the most original game in the world, but it plays pretty well. Traditional Toon-style scenery of Wild West backgrounds and Martian moon surfaces are by far the game's best feature. Great to look at overall, but it's a shame the characters' designs aren't as pretty.
Lift one up for fun. Flex the arm, little red wagon. Stop waiting.
Each character gestures with disgust each time you foul up on the easy shots, and the whole racing field is convincingly verbalised through the talents of Warner Brothers.
My secret weapon.
You're a loser.
All the Acme booby traps we've grown to love through our youthful years are available, but the mix of 2D explosions and weaponry effects look out of place against the slick 3D backdrops.
Step aside, son, you bother me. Ha it is too loud. Pilot the bombardier.
The combat element has been raised to provide a challenge that even experienced gamers would find tough on occasions. Pianos and elephants fall on you from the sky, and a battery of seeking missiles, laser guns, portable holes and rain clouds help to blight your front-running foes. Sure, you can dodge the attacks, but it's still damn hard at the best of times.
I hate you.
Now that did not look good.
If you're still a child at heart, then Space Race is a decent enough kart racer. Not one of the classics, but nice enough to entertain the younger generations.
Don't mess with this little black duck.
Morning, Sully.
Morning, Ricky.
Hey, it's the Selster.
See you on the scare floor, buddy.
Hey, Marge. Hey, how was jury duty?
Morning, Sully.
How you doing, big guy?
Hey.
They did something different this time than they usually do in animation. Usually when you record things, you record it one at a time. This time they brought Billy and I together, and we were doing all right on our own, but for some reason the energy just took off like that. It worked. It really worked well.
And it looks like it's going to be a perfect day to maybe, hey, just lie in bed, sleep in, or simply work out that flab that's hanging over the bed! Get up, Sully! He's sort of the Burgess Meredith to John Goodman's Rocky. He's his little manager, he's sort of Jiminy Cricket, he's sort of all of these things.
I don't believe I ordered a wake-up call, Mikey.
Hey, let's talk more pain, Marshmallow Boy! We have a great relationship in the movie. He does things I can't do. I'm not a really scary guy, I'm a runt. Feel the burn! You call yourself a monster? Scary feet, scary feet, scary feet. Oh, the kid's awake! Okay, scary feet, scary feet, scary feet, scary feet, scary feet. Kid's asleep!
I'm really amazed from when we started with sketches, a script, they'd come back with things that they'd shot in like a rough 3D form, and you could see it taking shape. And then the whole time we were working on it, and it was just amazing to watch and see how creative these people are, creating life, creating animated life.
The star of the movie is this little 3-year-old, incredible, adorable creation. And she loves us. She doesn't see us for what we are. She sees us as two cute friends, as stuffed animals.
No! Oh, it's coming! It's coming! Oh.
Don't touch those, you little... Oh, no, those were alphabetized. It's okay, it's all right. As long as that doesn't come near us, we're gonna be okay. Ah! Ah!
Monsters Incorporated.
Attention Dulles Tower.
Who is this?
There a cop on duty around here?
Airport police.
Go get him. This is a professional mercenary. You got the world's biggest drug dealer on his way here now. What do you need, a slide rule to figure this out?
Yes. Do we have enough fuel? They anticipate little problems like this.
Right away, real fast, one more time.
Come along with us.
Free them.
Not yet.
You're the wrong guy in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Story of my life.
Power up the CPU.
The future of law enforcement is here.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
Robocop, the Special Edition DVD. Special feature enhancements, digitally remastered with 5.1 audio, new documentary, new filmmakers' commentary, newly discovered deleted scenes, and more. What are your prime directives?
Serve the public trust. Protect the innocent.
Thank you!
Uphold the law. Your move, creep.
The futuristic action classic.
Thank you for your cooperation.
Robocop is yours to own on the Special Edition DVD.
Stay out of trouble.
Every man has a dream. Every man has a fantasy. Every man has an image of the perfect woman.
When are you gonna get it?
What are you talking about?
It never occurred to you that picking girls solely on their looks may not be the best way to go about it?
But one man is about to get a whole new perspective.
Al Larson, I'm going to do you a great favor.
Really?
From this moment on, whenever you meet someone in the future, you're only going to see the inner beauty.
What are you doing? I am rescuing you. From what? From what?
This fall,
I gave him the ability to see the inner beauty, their heart, their soul.
He hypnotized you. You're saying that all the pretty girls I've met lately aren't really pretty.
Hal Larson is dating a vision only he can see.
Oh, there she is. There's Rosemary. Where? Right there. Is she behind the rhino?
20th Century Fox presents.
Have you ever heard the phrase that beauty is in the eye of the beholder?
Have you heard the song Who Let the Dogs Out?
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Oh.
Jack Black.
Are you okay?
Brain freeze.
Jason Alexander.
I don't want anything to do with you, you little warthog.
You had me at Get Lost.
In a comedy of gigantic proportions.
What? You want to see a splash? I'm going to show you a splash. Ready?
Hey, Billy, stay over near the ladder.
Shallow Hal.
Billy?
Daddy! Daddy!
Inspector, I know your reputation for making brilliant guesses that turn out to be right. Someone told me you claim to dream the answers.
Sometime this evening, a bagtail was murdered in George Yard.
That doesn't sound much out of the ordinary.
It was the way she was done, Inspector. It was the way that she was done that cries out for a man of your talent.
He can foresee the victims.
I saw her. I saw her face.
Your vision's about me.
Most definitely.
You know, they used to burn men like you alive.
He could sense the suspects.
It must be someone with money.
And how do you know that?
This ain't killing for profit. This is ritual.
But for an inspector in charge of the world's most infamous investigation,
he's punishing them. I want double shifts within this area.
We'll have mayhem on the streets.
I believe this was done by someone with a working knowledge of dissection.
An educated man, that's preposterous.
The last thing he expected.
I want you and your friends off the streets until I can sort this thing out.
I do trust you.
Was to get close to someone who would be next.
Jack the Ripper's not finished.
Where is he?
I want you.
One day, men will look back and say that I gave birth to the 20th century.
You're not going to see the 20th century.
I have a proposition I'd like to discuss with you. I've chartered an airplane to fly us over Isla Sorna, and we'd like you to be our guide. We'd love to make a contribution to your research here.
It could almost be paradise.
My God, I'd forgotten.
We have a landing strip up here. You cannot land on this island.
Oh my God!
But in this forbidden place, where man has tampered with nature,
This is how you make dinosaurs?
This is how you play God.
something unexpected has evolved.
They can talk to each other.
To a degree we never imagined.
On July 18th,
You probably won't get off this island alive.
it's not just a walk in the park.
They set a trap. They actually set a trap.
So what?
The Tekken series is finally facing up to a powerful challenge. Sega's Virtua Fighter games are the pioneers that Namco copied and refined. But since it's a Sega flagship brand, the VF series has never made it onto a Sony system.
I'm gonna whip you in no time!
Until now.
Here I come.
Fight one! Ready, go!
A total of 14 characters have made it into Virtua Fighter 4, each possessing a vast array of terrific acrobatic moves, each based closely on a real-life fighting art. Although a tiny amount of moves are shared between fighters, there seems to be far more individuality in the characters' techniques compared to Tekken 4, which makes for far more varied fights. Punches, kicks, throws and counterattacks are unleashed with a ferocity and silkiness quite unlike any other fighting game. Virtua Fighter veterans will find 2 new characters added to the mix following the arcade and Dreamcast-only VF3. Lei Fai is a superb creation, tremendously disciplined martial arts chained together to produce absolutely mesmerising displays. He's the closest video games have yet to get to the celluloid performances of Jet Li.
Come on!
The other newcomer is the buff Vanessa, possessed of outlandish physical power and a bewildering range of grappling attacks that are quite brutal to behold. The backgrounds in the game also push the envelope. Destructible parts of the scenery are also in Tekken 4, but Virtua Fighter 4 is clearly a lot more detailed and presents some impressive new effects never seen before, such as fighting through a snowdrift on the excellent castle stage.
Yeah! Go!
Put simply, this is the best fighting game yet seen on the PlayStation 2. In fact, it's even better than the arcade version of Tekken 4, meaning that Namco has finally got some serious competition. Import fans should definitely snap this up double quick, but European PS2 owners are promised a full-screen, full-speed version of the game in time for its official release in April. We'll have far more in-depth Virtua Fighter 4 coverage next month.
Virtua Fighter 4.
Inspired by the Tokyo Motor Show, Gran Turismo Concept 2001 Tokyo showcases this year's crop of mad concept cars. But it wouldn't be Gran Turismo without Nissan Skylines, and there are still plenty on offer here. The new M-Spec GTR doubles as a pace car in the revised license test section. It's a seriously cool motor, but unfortunately there's no option to get the flashing blue lights working once you've unlocked it. Also available is the shapely NSX Type R, a lightened and more focused version of Honda's aggressive Ferrari Beta. Honda's slinky dual-note concept is another highlight. While for off-roaders, there's the impressively butch Toyota RSC concept in full works livery, one of the dream selection of race spec concepts, and Mitsubishi's New World Rally Spec Lancer, which debuted this year. more exotic garage fillers include Suzuki's bike engine GSX R4, but perhaps the most outlandish motor from the 51-car strong selection has to be the Toyota Pod. This freaky-looking bubble car comes complete with its own miniature circuit and bizarre sub-race. The venues are restricted to forward and reverse versions of the Tokyo, Midfield, Swiss Alps and Tahiti Maze courses, but benefit from a new addition, the Autumn Ring from GT1 and 2. Each needs to be unlocked with a suitable lap time before you can start acquiring your dream motors in the single race mode. There's also a heap of rewards to be gained, including movies, an ace difficulty setting, and a whopping 1,000 million credit memory card save for GT3. Sadly, Sony has no plans at the moment to bring it to Europe, but a classic car-based version is under serious consideration.
king of Iron Fist Tournament 4. Fight. Welcome to the king of Iron. Fight. Williams win. Welcome to the king of Iron. Fight. Li Chaolan win. Welcome to the king of Iron. Fight. Win. Welcome to the king of Fight. Phoenix win. Welcome to the king of Iron. Fight. Welcome to the king of Iron. Fight. Win. Welcome to the king of Iron. Fight. KO. fist or fight. Julia-chan win.
Thank you, spirits.
Welcome to the King of Iron.
The results of the PSW Goal of the Month competition are in, and after sifting through hundreds of scorching netbusters, we've selected 3 beauties that Owen, Shearer and Ari would be proud to add to their goal-scoring collection. In third place is Matthew Hunter's delicately placed succession of headers that totally bewilder the defence in this unique Brazil versus Brazil occasion. This month's runner-up is Gilbert McPhee from Perth, with his audacious chip that leaves the goalie floundering before colliding comically with the post. Goal of the month belongs to Darren Fellows from Peterborough, who wins himself a pair of Umbro boots as worn by Michael Owen, with the spectacular scissors kick by the in-form Ruud van Nistelrooy. Onimusha 2 is set in the early summer of 1573, 13 years after the original game. Yagyu Jiyubei has just returned from travelling to find his hometown under attack. This is the work of the ruthless warlord, Nobunaga Otak, who made his first appearance in the original game. Whereas the original had the storyline simplified to make the action stand out, this time we can expect a more dramatic experience all round. There'll be greater character depth and more detail and thought put into the locations that make up the world. With Sega's Dreamcast in decline, the hip-shaking songstress Ooh La La comes to PS2 Space Channel 5 Part 2. The main attraction this time seems to be the changing of Ooh La La's wardrobe. And as you progress through the game, you get the chance to customize her outfits further and unlock even more costumes. On the gameplay side, you get an additional 2-player mode and all new aliens to battle. Instrument playing and singing challenges also make an appearance, along with everything else that made the original so popular. Kingdom Hearts is a new direction for Squaresoft, namely a joint project with Disney. Combining Square's legendary gameplay and the magic of Disney, this is definitely something to watch out for. The main characters are a young man named Sora and his two friends, Riku and Kairi. They begin the game separated and in different worlds, having to cross the 9 Disney settings in order to find one another again. And you can be sure that they're bound to run into many famous faces on the way.
Welcome to the King of Iron Fist Tournament 4.
Currently looking to be the best of the latest generation of 3D fighting games, Tekken 4 comes with all the expected visual improvements, along with a completely new stage system and some other gameplay upgrades. There are 20 characters to master, 10 at the start of the game, and a further 10 to be unlocked. Each of the levels has its own personality, very much in the vein of Soul Calibur. Even the movement system has been enhanced, allowing for simplified sidestepping with other moves. Capcom's new cel-shaded racing game Automodelista sure looks pretty, but its big claim to fame is the inclusion of a network racing feature. The typical lineup of vehicles is present, and each one can be customised just as you like. The network feature allows you to compete with several other people, challenging each other to races, sharing pictures of your car designs, forming racing teams, and just generally bragging about your driving skills.